Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, then welcome. My name is Tina. Thanks so much for clicking on this video. Hit the subscribe button if you want to stick around. This is the first episode of a little series that I'm doing, house hunting on Long Island. So I'm very excited. There's been a lot going on, and I'm basically going to take you through step by step, kind of, sort of, maybe, sort of. There's a lot that's already happened, so I'm going to explain to you here everything. Let me just explain to you the whole situation. You may know, you may not know, but currently, me and Bobby, my fiance, live in Pennsylvania. We both grew up on Long Island. We moved here about a year ago. Long story made short, we moved here because the rent is way cheaper. It's about 2.5 hours with no traffic. But there's always traffic to get to Long Island. We just kept expanding our search to, further out, further out, further out. We knew it was just going to be for a year. And that was really just to save money on rent, because the rent on Long Island is insane. On top of having 2 pit bulls, is very hard to get somewhere with. A lot of apartment buildings have breed restrictions. A lot of homes that are for rent or apartments for rent in people's houses, they don't want any dogs at all. So it was just a lot. There wasn't a lot of options. So we kept making our search bigger and bigger until we found something that wasn't too far but could work. That's what brought us to Pennsylvania. Now we're finally ready to start looking to buy a house. So I originally thought I was going to document literally step by step as it's happening, but it has just been so hectic and so stressful and just so many things, and all the parts were moving super fast, and then just so much to it. So it didn't really work out the way I thought. I thought I was going to have a little bit more of lead up time, and I just had all these video ideas planned that still could happen. I just thought it was going to be a little smoother than it has been. So I'm just going to explain some stuff, and then we'll get into what you're probably really here for, which is seeing the homes that we've looked at so far. Let me just explain a few things. If you don't know, you probably know where Long Island is if you clicked on this video. But if you don't know, Long Island is, I will show you right here, it is outside of New York City. It's very expensive and very overpriced, especially right now with the market. I think the market's crazy everywhere, but Long Island is Long Island, and it only has so many homes, right? So there's not much inventory right now on Long Island, and all of the inventory that is there is really high. So people like Long Island because, like Bobby, you can commute into the city for work, obviously in New York City. Long Island is split up into 2 counties, Suffolk County and Nassau County. We're focusing really on like the western end of Suffolk County. Not too deep into Suffolk. It can't be too far in because, like I said, Bobby needs to commute into the city. No specific town we're looking in. We're looking everywhere that has homes that we can afford, because some towns are all very, very expensive. And just in general, Long Island is just very expensive. If we were to use our budget that we have for a home, if we were to use the budget that we have for a home in Long Island, like here in Pennsylvania, you can get just so much more for your money. Long Island is just so expensive, and it makes sense because it's right outside of New York City. So, and you have the Long Island Railroad to bring you into the city, which is super convenient. Like here in Pennsylvania, it's not far from New York City either, really. But there is no railroad that just brings you right in. So Long Island is very convenient in that way. But we don't want to stay in Pennsylvania. It isn't a far drive, but it's just a lot with the dogs, bringing them and going back for everything that we need to go back for. It just tires us out. Like this past year of going back for things, for holidays or birthdays or whatever it may be, it's always a thing. It's always stressful. It's never easy. And we don't have anyone here, so it's just a totally different life that we just don't want that. We knew we didn't want that coming in. I really always thought I would want to move out of state simply because Long Island is so expensive, and I feel like it just blows my mind how much more you can get for your money somewhere else. but the grass isn't always greener. You can have a gorgeous, nice home, but if there's no one there to go in it, then it's not worth it. So I made a binder, which I basically just made this because I wanted to have this as like a sentimental thing to save. I don't know. I thought it was fun to like organize things and bring it with us when we go house hunting and stuff like that. I even have a little pouch for my pens. I know. I should have been a school teacher. What I wanted to get was my little list of things. So actually, it doesn't even matter. It really doesn't. We know we're not searching for a dream home. This is our first home that we're purchasing. I don't know. Will it be a forever home? Probably not. But we do need to get a home that, you know, we're not going to immediately grow out of. We are getting married somewhat soon. Who knows? We did cancel our wedding like a while back. It was supposed to be this coming October, but we canceled it because of COVID, and we will eventually get married, but either way, we want to start our life, so we know we're going to start to have a family soon, and we both need work from home spaces. So right now Bobby works from home full time, but eventually he is going to be going back into the city a few days a week, so he actually needs both. I work from home, so I need an office. I have an Etsy shop, so I have a lot of stuff and a lot of just things that I need, so it's way too much to do that like in a living room or anything, so I definitely need a space for that. And we know we're going to have a kid, so ideally we want to have more than one kid as well. Kid. I keep saying kid like baby. It sounds a lot better if you say baby. But anyway, we know we at least want to have 2 babies, right? As of now, we do have some must-haves that it has to have. It needs to at least have 3 bedrooms. 4 would be great, but 3 at least. A basement or a garage. Large yard. Doesn't need to be huge, but a good size yard with grass, because believe it or not every yard, some yards actually are a good size, and then they're all like, not pavement, but you know what I mean, not grass. A large kitchen. At least 1.5 bathrooms. This was our list going in, and we were seeing a lot of, hi, she needs a yard. That's what she wants the most. Right, Mama? Yes. So that was our list going in, and we didn't think it was going to be that hard to find something. You're stepping on my binder. Off. We didn't think it would be that hard going in getting something with those wants, because it doesn't really seem like that much, you know, especially considering we are not scared of like a fixer-upper. It does not need to be brand new. We are totally willing to do work and make it what we want. The week that we got pre-approved, we had planned all along the very first weekend of August, we're going to be able to start looking at homes. So we got pre-approved, and that week before the weekend, probably on like a Wednesday or something, there was a house that we loved. Like, we loved it. We thought it was the one. Our agent said that they were doing best and final offers the next day. So it's kind of impossible, especially during the day, for us to just drop everything and go out there, even though it's only 2.5 hours. If we were to leave at that time, there would be traffic. There's 3.5 hours to get there. And then Bobby has work, you know what I mean? He can't just like drop and leave. And then like the next day he has work too. So it kind of just, it wasn't going to work out. But we were so in love with this house, and we wanted to be able to put an offer in. So our very first house we saw, and the very first offer we put in, was this one right here. Bobby's dad pulled through and went to go see it for us and FaceTimed us. While he did, he met with our realtor there, went and toured the house the next morning. We loved it. We put an offer on it. So let me show you that house right now. So I'm just going to take you through this house. As you see, we're on FaceTime up there. The video quality is not so great. We screen recorded. It didn't look like this when we're actually on FaceTime, but it did freeze a little bit and was a little blurry at sometimes. So I'm going to pop some pictures up of the rooms
for you to see a little better. Like right now you can't see anything at all, but it gets a little better here. So this is the kitchen. It had so much potential. We really loved it. Obviously, it's not my dream kitchen, but it had all new appliances, which was great. Room for me to have a kitchen island one day. The cabinets were nice. The countertop was nice. Everything was nice. Just a little DIY to make it my own would have been perfect, but it definitely was 1,000,000% livable until one day we were to renovate it into our dream kitchen. So this was the dining room. It's in the back of the house. You can see the sliding doors right there that go out into the yard. And then this is the hallway to go upstairs right there. The bathroom is down here and one bedroom. The bathroom was really nice, small, pretty normal, looked clean, looked nice. Again, we would have just DIY'd it. This is the bathroom. This is the bedroom here, the only one downstairs. They had some closets in the hallway. They used one as a pantry, one as a linen closet. Then going up the stairs, it's your like typical Cape style home. So you go up, to the left is a room and to the right is a room. And one thing that wasn't great was the rooms did not have any closets. So there's one right in the middle here between both bedrooms, but that was it. So that was definitely a con with this house, but we were willing to deal with it. We figured we could have made it work or built closets or figured some kind of IKEA system out. So going back downstairs, we're gonna head down into the basement. The laundry is right there. Nice washer and dryer, but there's just like all that hidden behind here, which is fine for me. Then in here was basically just a big empty room. It was finished, as you can see, but nothing special. Just another bathroom down here, a full bathroom. The owner had said that the wife's sister used to live down here. This is the dining room again. Um, the dining room leads right into the living room in the front of the house. And basically, as you can see, it's all like very nice. It just obviously needs to be painted, and there's a lot of wood paneling and stuff. But that was really it. Just like small updates that we would have needed to make throughout. The backyard was definitely the biggest plus because the house was actually on like almost a half an acre. So the backyard was huge, and that's what we really loved about it. There was a pool, which I was so excited for, and it was just so big. I was so excited like to think of our dogs running around this yard.
Unfortunately, we did not get this house. And honestly, I think it was meant to be. So this house it was really great. We did really like it. We kind of figured like, how crazy would that be? We get the first offer that we put down and we didn't even see the house, right? We didn't get it. We're moving on. And that's that. Like I said, it gets very discouraging throughout this process. Right now, I don't know how it may be in your state or anything, but on Long Island, at least, what we're looking for in our price range, there wasn't that many options. It's very discouraging because our lease was up in August, and we had asked our landlord if we could do month to month, and they said that they can do a 6-month lease but not month to month. So we did that. So our lease now ends at the end of January. So there's a big pressure on us to find a house so that we don't have to sign another 6-month lease. It's just very stressful being out of state and having to drive back every weekend. It's very stressful knowing that there is a end date and you have to find something, otherwise it's not going to be, whatever. Anyway, that was the first heartbreak, and let me tell you, I was pretty sad. I did cry. And meanwhile, this was just like the very first one. I think it's just that I kind of thought, oh, it's meant to be. And I don't know about you, but I cannot look at a house and not envision myself living there. I have to do that in order to see if I would even want to look at the house in person. I was already envisioning, what would I change here? What would I do there? What would we do to this? How would we set this up? How would we set our bed up? What would we do? All of these different things I have done. And just a sneak little preview, I've done this to every single house that we have looked at and especially put an offer on. So it, you know, it makes you way more emotionally invested when you start doing things like that. And it was pretty sad, but I got over it. I got over it pretty quick. So I started looking at houses a lot because that weekend was coming up, because now is already Thursday. So now we're like, all right, we need to head out to the island this weekend and see houses. There wasn't that many houses around to see. There was nothing available that was in our price range and able to see. Now, let me just explain this because some people don't understand where we're coming from. There are houses available, but because we are out of state, we are hardcore looking at these houses online and making a decision based off of the photos, like, would we put an offer on this house? If all the photos are correct, because you know they play some sketchy games with Photoshop on those photos. So as long as everything looked good when we went in, then it would be like a, yeah, we're putting an offer on it. And also we would go see ones if the photos were really bad. Like sometimes they don't have a lot of photos, or sometimes they're just not, you can't really get a feel for the house. But a lot of the houses have so many photos and you can, you know, kind of get a vibe for the whole entire house, especially when they include floor plans. So I really appreciate that. Because some people, when they go house hunting, like on a normal house hunting experience, they don't even really look up that many houses, and they have their realtor send them a list and they're like, all right, let's go see this one or that one or whatever. But I have been like treating this as another job and hardcore looking at houses online because we live out of state. So we're not going to go and then go waste our time to see 10 houses that we knew based off the photos weren't even going to match our, you know, wasn't a good fit anyway. So that weekend we only had 2 houses to see, and let me take you through those now. The first house, I don't have any video. I'm going to pop up some photos on the screen and I'll explain to you what it is, what, you know, everything about it. But this was one of the houses that we did go see because the photos were not good. They had literally 4 photos and one of them was like upside down. It was like a very bad photo game. And after seeing it, I think I understand why. This house was listed as that it had a garage. But as you can see, I have this one photo here, right, that wall right there that Bobby is like looking at, that behind that, that's the garage, and it was renovated to be a room, so it's not a real garage. Bobby actually didn't mind that too much, which was interesting. I would much rather have just a regular garage. Also on the outside, they had a very nice looking like side deck that was attached to the house with an overhang. So it was very nice, but they didn't have any permits when they built it. So if you don't have permits for something when you build on your house, then when you sell it, it could become an issue and your mortgage company might have a problem with it. They also had a completely renovated basement, which some people may like and some people may not. To us, we don't really care that much either way. We would just be happy if there is a basement. But this one basically had like a full apartment. It had a kitchen, a living room, a bedroom, and a full bathroom. We don't want that, so we would have changed it anyway, most likely, because we really don't need a kitchen down there. And we want that basement space for other things. So the backyard at this house was awesome. It was really big. It was nice. But the biggest main reason why we didn't take this house or put an offer on this house is because the kitchen, as you can see, is tiny. And it could have been workable. I could work with a smaller kitchen if there's a dining room. But the dining room kitchen is almost basically together. And that is just my main thing. And the only thing really that I want is just the house has to have a kitchen and a separate dining room, and the kitchen needs to be big enough to renovate into what I want. And even if the kitchen is not big per se, like big enough for an island. That's okay. It's okay if it's not big enough for an island, and I would love for it to be, but at least big enough to where I can make like the countertop like a little L-shaped thing. Something like that. And you could do that there, but the dining room portion of it was just like directly next to it. And I just don't want that. I just really cannot wait. Like my biggest excitement for getting a house, I can't wait until we can host holidays. I just have this whole like life envisioned. Like I can't wait to host some holidays. I don't know which ones, but any of them. So, and I just imagine everyone sitting at the dining room table, and you know, I don't want it to be super squished. I left that house knowing this isn't going to be the house for us. I would say lucky number 3, but let me take you through. This house, when we saw this house online, very much at first I was like, oh, wow, this house needs a lot of work. And then I was like, wait, it does need a lot of work, but look at it. Like, it has the bones. Like, we can make this house sick. We could make this house, like, you know, through time, like, make it perfect, you know? All this shag carpet, old carpet. There's even carpet in the kitchen. There's all this stuff, right? The kitchen needs to be fully renovated. But look at the size of it. Here I am, like, dreaming of this huge kitchen, you know? It had a basement. It had a garage. The living room was big. It has 3 bedrooms. And a huge plus was that right off the kitchen was this side room. It was like, they called it a den, but it would have been perfect for my office. There was a half bath in there, so there was 2 bathrooms. And I'm like, this is great. Like, we were obsessed. Obsessed. So we went to go see it. Still obsessed. Still obsessed. Put an offer in and got accepted. And we were so excited. So excited. So we planned for our inspection. That's the next thing that you do. And our inspection, usually they try to do an inspection sooner so that the agent doesn't continue to show the house, and then you could get outbid or whatever. But our agent was away, and that house's agent was actually going away. So we planned for it to be like the next week at some point, right? Right now is Wednesday. Today is Wednesday, right? August 25th, when I'm filming this. Just so you get an idea of what's all going on and how quickly things move. So we saw that house the weekend of the 7th and the 8th, which was our, you know, first weekend of looking at houses, blah, blah, blah. So then that whole week, our offer was accepted, so we didn't really look for anything. And then since the agent was going away, we had scheduled for our inspection to be the 17th of August. So that was a Tuesday. So Bobby took off of work, and on Tuesday we drove out to Long Island. I'm excited to announce it's inspection day! Taking the puppers. Freddie, where are you? Can't see you. Freddie, Bobby's pumping gas. Get in the car.
Can I not be locked out of my own vehicle? Thank you.
Bobby, what day is it?
Today is inspection day. Today is the day we're going hooray.
Yay! And went and got our inspection. And, you know, here we are thinking, like, okay, this is going to be great. Like, I'm telling you, like, emotionally invested. I was, like, emotionally invested more than I ever could be. On Pinterest, like, obsessing over these listing photos, looking at them, like, look at this bathroom, it needs to be totally redone. Like, we even went to Lowe's to look at stuff to see how much certain things were, because we knew that the bathroom was going to be the very first thing that we do. Camera died. So I'm telling you, like, the first thing we started planning, like, I was planning everything, like measuring things, trying to set up my, you know, look at new things for my office, you know, deciding, like, everything. This whole house was literally planned. Like, all the rooms were planned. Everything was planned. All of the ideas, you know. We knew that the kitchen was gonna have to be renovated, but that right there is a really big chunk of money. So we decided, like, okay, we'll do the bathroom first. We already, like, we're trying to figure out, like, if changing out the tub is something we could do, or if, you know, someone else would have to, or if we'd have to get a plumber, you know. Went to Home Depot looking at toilets, looking at bathtub surrounds, like all these things, right? Looking at stuff for the kitchen, because we figured, okay, we'll do the bathroom, then we'll save up the money and just completely renovate the kitchen. And I was excited because I'm thinking, okay, look at this place, like it's a fixer-upper, you know. But I'm thinking it's livable. You know, we'll take out the carpet. There's real hardwood underneath, they said. So we'll take out the carpet, we'll refinish the floors, we'll put up some paint. It's going to be like a brand new place, right? I'm thinking the kitchen, you know, it's pretty basic. I'll just do DIY and fix up this kitchen before, you know, before we renovate it. Because, you know, it's going to take a while until we actually renovate the kitchen. And that is one thing I didn't tell you guys. I absolutely love making over rooms. In our last home, I did that. And, like, the very last thing that I did was, like, making over the downstairs closet into this open little mud room. Not mud room, but, you know, little... I'll show you. I'll put a picture up. And then I also did our bathroom. It was 50s style bathroom with blue and yellow, like, everywhere. I love doing stuff like that, and I love trying to do it, like, on a budget. So I was excited. I'm thinking, this is awesome. Like, I'm gonna redo these things. I'll redo the kitchen to make it livable on a budget. I'll film it. It's gonna be great. No, it wasn't great. It was not great at all. I have video from the inspection, so I'm going to play that here for you guys, and I'll explain all the issues.
So I'm just going to jump right into all of the issues because there's quite a few and I don't have that much footage here. So right from the jump outside, the chimney that you're about to see was literally detaching from the house. You could see a gap between the house and the chimney, so we would have had to get that taken care of. There was a lot of drainage issues, which could have been taken care of, so that wasn't a huge one. The biggest issue of all was the electric. It was the original electric from the house, which was built in 1956, and the panel was a Federal Pacific panel that apparently was taken off the market and is known to cause house fires. So we would have had to get the house completely rewired, which would have been a huge thing and just not something we can do or want to take on. Then the next issue, which was equally as big to me, was the kitchen. So when we came and looked at the house, I did not notice how bad of condition the kitchen was in. I felt rushed when we came, and I kind of just was not paying good enough attention, I guess. Lesson learned. But the kitchen, when we went in, I realized how dirty the cabinets were. So not only on the inside, but the outside was just covered with grease. The inside had dirt, food all in them. It was just really, really gross. And as I kept looking, I noticed that there was dead roaches in the drawer, so that made me look even further. And then I found live roaches. So that was a big, big, big no-no for me. We're about to head into the kitchen in a second, so you'll be able to see how dirty the cabinets were on the outside. It was just really bad, and I don't know how people could live like that. They even had food out on the counter, knowing that they have roaches. I just can't. I cannot. But aside from that, just this kitchen would have had to be completely renovated for us to move in. I couldn't move in with this. You could see too that the countertop is literally caving in on this side right here on the bottom, right there. So everything just needed to be replaced. Definitely not livable. Also, in the basement, they found that there's active termites, so that was not good as well.
That was that. I understand that everybody is different, and a lot of people that we talked to were like, don't worry about roaches, don't worry about roaches, but you can get it taken care of. But listen, I'm just letting you know. I'm not trying to sound bougie. I'm not trying to sound like an a-hole, but I can't live with roaches. It's a psychological thing. If it was mice, it would be totally different. I hate roaches. They skeeve me out so bad. Truly, it really could be any other bug or any other like critter and I'd be okay. I really, really would. I'd be like, all right, we'll get it taken care of and we'll deal with it. And you would think like mice would be worse because they're bigger, but they're not. They're not. Roaches just skeeve me out so much, and I've always been worried about them. Like always, any place I ever move into, I was always scared that they were gonna have them. Especially when we moved to Brooklyn, I was thinking like, okay, like they always say, like the city always has roaches, but I never saw a single roach in our apartment in Brooklyn, and that's surprising because I know other apartments in our building have roaches, and I saw roaches on the floor in the apartment building. So I'm surprised they didn't make their way into ours, but I never saw one ever. Maybe it was there and I didn't see it, but that's besides the point. My point is that I'm just terrified. I can't, like a lot of people are like, it's fine, you know, you get taken care of and you don't have to worry, but I don't want to spend that much money on a house and have to even deal with that problem. I mean, the houses are so expensive right now that it just blows my mind, you know? Like, I don't want that to be one of the problems. If you see roaches during the day, you have an infestation somewhere. Like, you're infested. Infestation. Is that right? I think so. But for real, like, I'm so paranoid about roaches. I've done so much research on them. Like, if you're seeing them out and about during the day, which is when this was, they are there, and it's going to be hard to get rid of them. And it would have been a whole thing. Like, I wouldn't have been able to just move in there. The electric thing is really the biggest thing, like that we couldn't have done it anyway because that would have been a whole big job, a lot of money. But even if we could do that, right, I wouldn't be able to use that kitchen like knowing, like all the scrubbing in the world wouldn't do it for me. Image of those cabinets and like the dirt and the grossness will never leave my mind. I don't know how people live like that. I don't, because people live in this house. No offense if you do that, but if you do, I don't know how you live like that. You gotta clean. You gotta clean. That is just crazy to me. And it's not a cheap house. It's not like this is like $100,000, right? So no. Okay. So on to the next. So now I'm feeling really defeated. On our drive home, you know, we weren't happy. It was sad. I was in the basement of that house and I cried. But after that, I felt okay. If it was just the electric, then I would have been more sad. But because it was the roaches too, I was grossed out enough that I was able to like move on because no part of me would want to live in that house. So I was able to let it go and I was just skeeved out. So got home and had to start searching all over again because, okay, now it's Tuesday night. So now we're like, okay, I guess we gotta go back to Long Island again this weekend. So I stalked out Redfin, found all these houses, and there was so many this time. There was tons. I was feeling really good. I sent a list of like 10 houses to our agent, and almost all of them we were able to see. I think only like 2 of them, like one already had an accepted offer and one, I forget what it was. I think it was something like they had a tenant that wasn't leaving, so it was like some sort of issue like that, that we don't want to get involved with. We're not trying to buy a house where we had to deal with somebody getting evicted. So sent that out, sent that to him, and then we went to go see a bunch more houses. So that concludes episode 1, and I'm going to keep you posted on episode 2. I don't want to make this too long, so I'm not going to go through all the houses with you now because literally we went and saw 7 houses that day, and it was a lot, and we did put 3 offers in. So I will see you with episode 2. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. Wish me luck, keep your fingers crossed, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.